He's crazy, that one. Let's see here. Okay. There's nothing out there but birds. Yeah, you can't really see him, but he is perched up on the couch. He thinks he sees stuff out there. Then again, it might be hummingbirds. I'm not going to lie. I changed out the feeders today, so they come up and they buzz and they just sit there and they hover in front of the window and they look at him and he gets all huffy puffy about it. It's like, really? It's a hummingbird. It's the size of your eyeball. He's such a weirdo, that one. Bruce! Hey, Adam. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and there we go. Yeah. The tater, the tater. He's a big old doofus. That one. All right, let's see here. Hey, Stuart. Trying to get the guys on here. Now, Bruce, I know you're watching. Here's Caleb. Let me go ahead and add him. Hi, girl. All right, let's see if I can. There's trouble. That guy.
Bruce!
Oh.
Thank you, because it was about to get.
What's happening?
Oh my gosh.
Well, so you came in right at the right time, Bruce. Caleb was about to get cussed off.
You watch your mouth, little lady. Hey, actually, you know what? Touche, Amanda.
Yeah.
I take back what I was gonna say about you. Look, Amanda, look. We're thought the same way. You have the same cup.
Hey, great minds tend to think alike. Not now, obviously, in this instance, but what are you gonna do?
Which one was that? The Troy show about 2 years ago? The Bully show? The Troy Cinco?
No,
it was.
This is the most recent Cinco.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bully Ball 2.
The one that I've been drinking out of before this one was her first Cinco show.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah, Keyshawn, what's up? Hey, Stuart. Yeah, Stuart wants to make it a point. I love it. Always promotion. Amanda's wearing a pull up or shut up shirts. Me and Bruce obviously didn't get the memo, he said. I got what you were putting out. I smelt what you were cooking from Kentucky. Oh, we do got to wear it, though. Hey, shout out to Stuart Flagg, man. That was a good show. Next year, can't wait. It's going to be an annual show, from what I understand. And Stuart and Sean. Sean is he's more of a quiet man than Stuart. But Sean is a cool dude.
Yeah.
Sean Fredericks, shout out. That was a fun show.
No doubt.
Looking at those pictures, like, man, it was just laughter. It was fun, but it was also like very serious in judging the proper dogs. And he did a very, very good job of that.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And what I enjoyed, and I had this conversation with somebody recently as well. as well as Stuart and Sean. But I think that the fact that we all would talk to each other about like why this particular dog we wanted to put up, or this one or that one, like we would plead a case with each other to make it make sense, and eventually we would all come to one conclusion. That was the best part, is that eventually, after we kind of talked about which dogs we liked, which ones we thought had this kind of, were the best of that category,
Yeah.
we would all be like, you know what? Okay, yes. And so we would all come to the same conclusion before we handed out anything. And I think that
100%.
that means a lot, because
It does. Just instead of one person's opinion, it was very like-minded mindsets.
Mhm.
It was educated mindsets, and we came together and we'd be like, so why are you pushing so hard for this dog?
Right.
Like,
That's right.
Yeah.
tell me, and
What do you
make it
see
make
that I
sense.
may
Let's
not?
break it
Yeah.
down.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, man?
Mr.
Hey.
Hold
Danny
on one second. Let me put my
Cervantes.
phone in do not disturb before I get a million calls right now and interrupt this.
It never fails. It never
Yeah,
fails.
nobody has called me throughout the whole day, but all of a sudden now the phone is gonna start going off. How's everybody doing?
It's
Good,
exactly
man. How about
how that's meant
yourself?
to happen.
Yeah, that's how it always happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, thank you for joining us, man. I've been looking forward to this live for a while. Like, it was awesome meeting you in person. Right when we met, it was just like a family reunion amongst the four of us. Like, we
Yeah.
never all
Yeah.
met you in person, but then when we did, it was just like, boom, let's work. So
Appreciate
let's
the
have fun.
support. Yeah, no, definitely. I appreciate the support. I respect what you guys are doing. And you could tell you guys, you guys are naturals, and the way people gravitate to you guys is real dope. It's hard to really go to a show. Like, I think the Pull Up and Shut Up has brought me back to how shows used to be. You go have fun. There was no tension. Everybody was just laughing, having, just enjoying themselves. Win or lose. There was no
Yeah.
big no BS, So huge shout out to the two gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? It was a real nice show.
Hey,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I
Hey,
agree.
and you know
Absolutely.
what? And me and Danny, man, we clicked like we was homies for a long
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
look,
yeah,
it's crazy. Hey, look,
yeah,
it's so
no, it
crazy that
was.
he was showing me his dogs and everything, right? And then he said, "Hey, man, man, look, when you want to come my way, bring your wife. Don't bring no money, man. Hey, look, that's love right there." And we
Yeah.
just met. And the funny thing is that he said, "Man, look me up on Facebook." I said, "Man, you know what? Come to
I
think
follow
of it, I think we
you
already
already.
friends." I think we already friends. I
It's
said,
been
hold on
for
a
a
minute.
minute.
I said, hold on a minute.
You know
Hey,
what it is? I
I pulled
stopped
him
being on
up.
Facebook for a while because it just started getting too crazy on Facebook for a little bit. So I started going to
Mhm.
IG. I try to build my platform on TikTok and do a little Twitter, but Twitter is I'm not too fond with Twitter, so I stopped twittering. You know, but now I got to
Yeah.
get back to Facebook. And interact with the people who've been supporting me from day one.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure, for sure. Well,
no, definitely.
so
Go
how
ahead.
we typically, I don't know if I don't know if you've seen our episodes in the past, but what we like to start out with is for anybody that is viewing in that isn't familiar with you or as familiar with you as they're about to be, we definitely like to give you the opportunity to go ahead and uh, oh, my friend from Germany, Janet's watching. Shout out to Janet. She's God knows what time it is over there in Germany. It's like 7 hours ahead. So bless her for being up and
Uh-huh.
listen. But anyways, so we like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself, to start with your name and your kennel name, any businesses that you own that are dog related, and then how you got into bullies.
All right. My name is Danny. I'm an HVAC mechanic for Google. I got into bullies accidentally, to be honest with you. We were going. Well, I say, you know what it is, because everybody looks for a dog, right? To
Mm-hmm.
fit into to something that they like to do and stuff like that. For me, it was different. I went through a unfortunate situation with my kids where I got custody of all three of my daughters at a young, when they were young. The
Yeah.
youngest was 13, 14 years old. And
Yeah.
the oldest was 13, 14. The youngest was 4. So I needed to change the atmosphere at home. So I went to a school trip one day. I met a guy that we had mutual friends playing handball in the same neighborhood. And he's like, yo, I got bullies. And he showed me a picture. I'm like, that's not a bully, that's an Amstaff. He goes, nah, he's a bully. I'm like, no, it's not. That's a pit bull, you know? So he's like, no, for real. So he said, come over, I'll show you. So I went, you know, because I come from the game dog days, you know. I didn't do none of that crazy stuff, but, you know, I know what they were. And I went to his house, and I knew it was a different breed because when I grabbed that puppy at 4 weeks old, the mom didn't try to kill me. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Hey.
okay. Now we're talking. Like, you know, there might be a bully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he offered me. He asked for 1,200. I brought him down to 800. You know, and I came home one day and I surprised my daughters, and you know that became our
Yeah.
thing. And then we went to get the ears cropped at a certain location, and
Mhm.
that's when a whole world opened up. I'm like, what the hell? You know, and I met a gentleman there. We linked up with his family, my family, because at that time I brought all my daughters with me. He had his kids and his wife in there, and then we, like, you know, we clicked and we started. Our first show was in Lancaster Park, you know, in PA. And from there, if it just took off, and I'm like, wow, you know, it's nice. The atmosphere was nice, you know, the barbecuing, the just like when we met, you know what I'm saying? You don't really
Yeah.
know each other, but it just clicked because we got one thing in common, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't care whose dog was better. We just love our dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, loving your kid. You know, one kid might be uglier than the other, but you still love him. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
What, Caleb?
You know what I'm saying?
Oh God.
So, you know, but you know, and then it just opened so many doors for me in certain ways that, you know, it just, you know, it came to 2nd2Nun Bullies. I started getting some clothing lines out there, you know, with the hats, matching hoodies. Now I showed, you know, I do host show, you know, I host shows, and it came to a point that a lot of people started calling me about shows that I opened up event planning services, where I will get everything for you, from the pipe and drape
Nice.
company, find do the layout, get you the trophy people, the flyer people, and they all treat you like, you know, like they're treating me. So that's the
Hmm.
perk of hiring me as an event planner and stuff like that, you
Wow.
know.
Dang.
So,
I didn't know you were
well,
into all that. That's
yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, you know, because they know
Wow.
this. Everybody wants to do a show, but they don't know what it takes to do a
Joey.
show. Everybody thinks
Yeah.
it's a money grab. You know, some people think it's a money grab. I think that there is too many shows going on in certain areas, but not well put together, that discourages people from going to other shows. But it has come to
Yeah.
a point that people got to really go through it to see it's damn. I don't know if I want to do another show. You know, because the money you
Yeah.
spent, money you invest. You know, not you're lucky to even be able to find a good venue. You
Yeah.
know, and stuff like that. And then you got to do crowd control. You know, then you got to put all the pieces of the puzzle. You guys were there. You guys were part of the puzzle. You guys, you know, you guys were judging. Then you got to make sure the host is doing this thing, the MC is doing this thing, the DJ got the good music,
Hmm.
not too loud, not too low. The mics are working. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that take place during the show, and you know, you got a big umbrella there. You know what I mean? You got, you know, you're the umbrella. And you got a lot of things under you that you got to make sure that they're doing
Yeah.
what they're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? So
100%.
I've been lucky to be surrounded by a lot of great people. You know what I mean? Sometimes it looks like I'm doing it all on my own, but I got people like Bully Worldwide, TCC, a lot of 100 Kennels. You know, a lot of people that yo, Danny, you should do this. Yo, this is a good idea. This, you know. So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, cool. You know, so I respect their ideas. I don't try to brush people off. Let's try it. If it don't work out, okay, on to the next one. You know what I mean? Because if
Right.
they would investing their time in you, the least you could do is give them the respect to say, okay, you know what, let's try that out. Let's see how that is going to look.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
it's not a good look, then you know, then you're gonna have to just go on to the next idea.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, for real. Yeah. I mean, it's it's one of those things that you do want to create a reputation for yourself of having, a good, fun, consistent, well-timed show. It's so that way when everybody leaves, if they decide that they want to do that in their own region, they kind
Yeah.
of get a little bit of that blueprint by watching you, and they have a deeper respect for what all is going to go into it because they watched you handle it. You know what I mean? It's and then they're going to keep coming back to your shows because they know what to expect
Yeah,
now.
you
They
know, and
know.
it's come to a
Yeah.
point that people like, you know, you're gonna be able to do that in Danny's show, walking with no pants, dragging, because they already know me.
Oh,
You know what I mean? They know
God,
they're not
Yeah.
gonna
yes.
do anything that's out of control. And the reason is that, you know what? I have my daughters in the front collecting money and giving out tickets and stuff like that. She
Hmm.
don't need to see you dressed inappropriate.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, so my expectation from people is you will give me the respect I deserve and I demand when you walk into the building that I'm catering. And
Man,
you
I
know
love
what I
it.
mean? Plain and
Love it
simple.
too.
And if you can't do it, you don't have to come in. I don't need your money. I
There
make
you
money
go.
at work. You know what I'm saying? I took off tonight. I gotta be honest with you. I took off tonight for this interview because I would have been driving to
Man,
work right now. But I said, you know
thank
what?
you.
Let me take off because to me it's an honor to be on your platform. I truly appreciate it, and I don't want no disturbance. Because when I drive, I get wild. You might be hearing words that you don't want to hear on the live.
I love your honesty about that. They'll be like,
You
I'll
know,
be, yeah, I have to
no,
grow.
it gets me mad when people be trying to cut me off, and this, it just gets crazy. But and it's
Oh
up
my
to a point that
God.
people know the brand that they know. You know what? We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do that. And I'm lucky to be able to have people that actually have already been respectful enough to be like, you know what? I'm not gonna do those things at his show. We're gonna just have fun, and then when I leave, then I'll do what I gotta do. You know what I mean? Or act a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. But while I'm there, I mean, and you can boil it down to not just respect, but also it's part of the performance. It's part of that
People don't
expectation. And
understand how important it is when you're in that ring, dressed properly, and representing that dog for whichever brand it might be representing, your brand as a handler,
Mhm.
or somebody else's brand.
Love it.
It's the way it should be. Like you have to, like, nobody could tell you they've been in the ring where I host a show with the pants down. Nobody, nobody. If I just see an inch of your underwears, I'm telling you to stop. I'm stopping
yeah,
put your pants up. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I'm here for
that's
it.
where I come from. When I first started to ABKC shows, I used to see people in tank tops, throwback jerseys, but when they get in the ring, they got a 2-piece suit on, 3-piece suit on, and I'm like, damn, they taking it
Mhm.
Yeah.
seriously. So if they could
Yeah.
do that,
You, you dress up
then
nice.
we got to bring that back
Mhm.
to what we love to do, because it brings a little bit of it steps the level up, and it shows the people the respect. You know what I'm saying? And if we could be
Mhm.
respectful within that time frame, then that little by little we're getting somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it's
Sure.
act the part. Wherever you are, you got to act the part, be the part, and dress the part. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
just the way it
definitely.
works.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do feel like there is and it's a mentality. So like I know, for example, and this is also partially me being neurotic, but
No, not you.
working working in an industry where you have to kind of dress like business or business casual, like they have like Friday jean day, like, oh, you get to wear some jeans. I'm like, I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
It's a mindset where I'm going to dress this part. I'm going to act this part. And that I feel
100%.
like that's the backbone is I'm dressing for the job that I'm doing. I'm dressing for the job that I want. And so it's one of those things where if I start wearing jeans, I'm like, nah, man, I don't want to be comfortable. That's not what this like. Mm-mm.
I'm
No,
not here to be comfortable. I'm here
right.
to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in the
And that's a
ring,
good
like you're
part.
talking about, you're representing a brand, you're representing whatever you're representing,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to go there, dress accordingly, and you need to act a certain way. Danny, I thought I liked you at the show. I love what you're saying tonight, man.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I
Like,
appreciate
this is some good
it.
information.
I appreciate it. Like I said, I got daughters. I got 4 daughters, and they gotta be. I gotta show them that what's right and what's wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody gonna yell at you. Ain't nobody gonna do this. You're not gonna accept to be this. You know what I'm saying? And they don't see me dressed like that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
my oldest daughter just turned 30. Her boyfriend never comes to my house with his baggy pants on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my other daughter's 22. Her boyfriend, because they already know me. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do that in the streets,
Yeah.
while you're hanging out, that's all cool. But when you in
Right.
my presence, in my house, you will respect me. You will respect my daughter, and that's just the way it works. You know what I'm saying? And little by little, you guys gonna start getting the hint that how you need to represent yourself in certain situations. There's a
Yeah.
time and place for everything. You know what I'm saying? There's times I
Mm-hmm.
wear my baggy clothes, stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. But when I'm gonna go meet somebody, when I go do a job, when I go to work, you don't see that. You know what I'm saying? You have to
Yeah.
see the point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the thing is like so when we're, for example, judging a fun show, like that's a little bit different. But alternatively, like when you're putting on a show, you're in the ring. Yeah, there's something to be said about someone that's cleanly dressed.
I mean, think about it.
One of the things I always like
You're
to
showing your dog.
point out, huh?
Let's think about it. You're showing your dog. You just had a litter, and you want to be represented right, that you want people to invest in you.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so if you got your pants half down your ass with your underwear all thugged out with Crocs on, with a weed with a blunt in your ear, you know what I'm saying? You think I'm gonna want to invest $5, $6, $7,000 on a puppy?
Yeah.
And everything I'm saying is I'm telling you because I've seen it myself. I'm not talking about something I'm
Yes.
investing. I've
Yeah.
seen this, and I'm like, what the? You know, I'm like,
Well,
come
so
on.
we actually have some friends that manage to show up at the same shows pretty frequently. Our friend Corey Latham and Logan Jones, and they got into a habit of literally dressing the same color of
Yes.
slacks and button up long sleeve collared shirt and the vest and everything, and it was and a couple times it was the same color of everything, and we just thought
Same
that was just
thing.
the funniest thing. But they'll walk in and they'll be in t-shirt and jeans or shorts or whatever, but then they disappear for like 5 minutes and then they come out looking suited and booted, and it's like the Superman, it's
Yeah,
they're
you
wearing
had
Yeah.
a suit now.
Anthony Gonzalez from Wildcard Bullies, aka Babyface. He used to do that. He used to go there with a baggy, basketball pants, a jersey. Right when they say pockets on deck, he'll go to the bathroom and come out with his vest. He had one of those pullover vests with his collar shirt on, tie, and
Yeah.
everything. I'm like, oh snap! Jeff Rodriguez from 24 Heavens Bulldogs, the same thing. Team Logan, you already know Team Logan. Who don't know Team Logan?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Those are the people that and why do you know them? Because of that mark, because of the way they represent themselves,
Exactly.
the way they respect the game. You know what I'm saying? Even if you didn't know his name, you were like, a little kid with a fedora hat with a feather in the top. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, we
That's
all
just
know
the
the
way
same
it
guy.
works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
right now we got a kennel, which I'm so happy that we're like family. Back Creek Bullies. Their two kids are handlers, their two sons, and they dress so impressively in the ring. I love the way they dress, and I love that they're trying to bring that back into the shows and into the ring because it represents their brand. So not only do they breed amazing excels, but they represent their brand very well in the ring also. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So sometimes everybody thinks that a top breeder is somebody who just breeds good dogs, but they forget the whole aspect of what it is to be a good breeder. You know what I'm saying? That's the overall package deal. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way we have to bring back that mentality also. Just because he breeds some amazing dogs, but he treats people like crap. He don't conduct himself right. Like okay, what are we
Yep.
doing here? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like what's gonna be this outcome, and am I gonna be happy with it?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Not all money's good.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's just the way it
Uh,
works. Cool.
so speaking of that, do you obviously outside of being a complete and utter monolith when it comes to show hosting and event planning, do you have a breeding program that you also manage?
Yeah, we got Champion He-Man, which we started the XL movement with him a couple of years ago, about 8 years ago. He came in into the picture just in time where the XLs were really hurting to be in the ring and really hurting to be acknowledged. Um, Along with Christine Feldman from Demolition Bullies, a couple other breeders that we got together. We used to
Mm-hmm.
be the only ones in the show ring, and it was real crazy, you know what I mean? But he came just on time, my first dog was a standard. I got approached by Rip Double XL Bullies after a show named Come Together Day in Delaware. And they're like, hey, we like the way you're moving, we like your attitude, we want to make you offer with an XL. I'm like, I can't afford an XL. I
Yeah.
heard the prices of some of them XLs. I'm like, yeah, I ain't my pockets aren't that deep, but they're not. Come over, you gotta be honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
100%.
people think that having a dog is just having a dog. It's all about the way you feed them and everything else that comes with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So they made me offer, and they offered He-Man. They pulled out a whole litter. They're like, this is our
Wow.
first pick on him, and I'm like I said, I can't afford it. Like, don't worry about the money right now. Just promote us, and we'll work out everything else after that. So as I was promoting them, I started pushing the XL movement, and then it
Heck
took off.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And now we're here. It makes it comfortable. A lot of XL what they don't understand is that people like Christine Feldman, Laurie Breyer, from Breyer's Kennels, Fia Kennels, as much as I don't like to mention him because he's a pain in the butt. And like with myself,
Someone
we made it.
tag him.
Yeah. Oh, tag. You can tag him. How do you call it? We made it. We made it to the point that the ABKC even acknowledged us for doing this. For pushing the XL movement,
Love
for
it.
putting a little fight. So, we made it comfortable enough for everybody to come out now, and now it's become such an amazing part of the bully community that where we belong in the top. You know what I'm saying? Front and center. You know. So
I
He-Man
love
has
it.
been, my main stud, my XL stud. Zeus has been my standard stud, but I had to get him fixed because he had a health issue, so I had to get him fixed. It's either I would have put him down or get him fixed. I think now I got to get him fixed. That's my boy.
Yeah.
Man,
100%.
I've done just selective breedings, mostly in-house breedings, and a few outside breedings. And it's been taking. He got 5 champion sons. But sometimes people aren't honest about how they get their dogs champion. They don't give credit to other people. So I just don't go back and forth, and I don't fight for no attention. I just let the action speak for itself, and it's in the paperwork. So it's just the way it works. You know what I mean?
Well, do you have any?
Yeah.
Stuart's asking, what are some of your favorite studs and bloodlines, and what
Studs.
are any of those bloodlines in your yard?
Well, I mainly work with the RBG. I know my female is Iron Cross with RBG. He-Man is strictly RBG. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never focused too much on bloodlines because I like to see the dog itself. I'm
There
not
we
one of
go.
the guys that hype. Oh, I need to breed to this dog because they got that bloodline. You know, I just like to see the dog for himself. Like let's take Back Creek Bully. She got an amazing dog. Bruce, I seen his temperament. I seen his structure. I seen the way he gates everything. To me, his pedigree don't matter because the way the dog is himself, his character, the dog's characteristic is what amazes me. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
sometimes people could tell you, "Oh, listen, I got this bloodline, that bloodline, they play good," and you try to do the same formula, and it's not going to click the same.
Oh
You
no,
know,
Yep.
genetics are weird.
and then some people use bloodlines as a marketing tool because they're at a certain level and they want to get to a different level, and that's
Yep.
something I don't respect because I can't expect to jump the ladder of somebody else's hard work. Like you guys got a platform. Just because I'm in this platform today doesn't mean tomorrow I could start a podcast. It don't make it. That's not the way it works. You have to
Yeah.
follow the steps. If you buy $100,000 dog or you buy $100 dog, the steps do not change. The process does not change. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
Everything's the same. The breeding's gonna be the same. You might get lucky, you might have an amazing litter, or you might be unfortunate and have a bad litter. You have to take the dogs to the vet. You have to spend money. You lost pups, lost mom.
Right.
The mom's not lactating. All these things can happen. It don't matter the price of what you pay for the dog. The process never changes, and that's something that in the community has come to the point that if I spend $20,000 on a puppy, I'm better than you. I'm a better breeder. I
Right.
got a stud. A puppy at 8 weeks old is not a stud, just in case you guys didn't know. A male dog is not a stud at 8 weeks old. Okay, so the process does not change nothing. The money that you spend on a dog on a stud feed does not change the process of a breeder, of whelping in the whole 9 yards. You know, some amazing dogs that I must see. Bowser's one of them. Back Creek Bullies is one of them. Bruiser. We got Tank. We got Ghost. We got Mecca. There's a lot of nice dogs out there that I might not know up front. I don't really go too much with the high breeders. Like I respect Monster Bully Kennels. I love him. Ryan,
Mhm.
individually, me and him are good friends. I respect everything he does. But for the most part, I really don't get caught up in those big name, you know, type things
Yeah.
because if I don't have a relationship with you and I can't see what you're really doing, then I can't really respect what you do. I could just respect what you represent. If I could say I won't disrespect you, but there's no need to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just the way I've always been that way. I'm not. I can't expect to do something and try to earn credit of somebody else's hard work. When I champed out He-Man, the certificate went to the one who produced him, Rip Double XL Bullies, my brother. I gave him the trophy and I gave him the certificate. You know, it doesn't
Yes.
make me it doesn't make me better keeping a trophy of somebody else's who produced them. Yes, I took him to the next level, but he produced something that let me take him to the next level. You know,
Yeah.
people gotta understand that. You know, respect is huge in this game, and a lot of people are forgetting that. You know what I mean?
100%.
Mhm.
You know, you
Absolutely.
just like judges or MCs. If you respect the craft, other people will respect you. But if you go around patting yourself too much in the back and being disrespectful to somebody else who's doing the same thing you're doing, they're gonna look at you a little sideways. They're like, damn, you don't have to disrespect me. We do the same thing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, very much
For sure.
so.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew Galley said, Drew
Hey,
Galley, Bully Worldwide.
yeah. Hey, Danny. Hey, I knew you said you was USBR,
Yeah.
right? So actually, I didn't know that they threw shows on the East Coast. I thought all of them was on the West Coast. And that's what this is a two part question. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but why y'all don't never host shows down south?
Well, so I'm trying to I'm trying to partner up right now with the USBR to bring out shows out to the East Coast. You know, I think they're a very good registry. I've seen the way they function. I've seen the judging. Um, they're respectful. I think they're one of the most respectful registries out here. You know, to me, I'm not taking no shot to nobody else. I rock with the ABKC. I think I'm one of the few that could really do shows for registries without having that red tape, and I've been
Right.
blessed with that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the
I
day, it's
like
about
that.
bringing the community together.
Yeah.
You know, forget about all this and that. Let's just bring the community. Let the community choose what they want to do. If they want to be with this registry, let me be able to do it for them. You know.
Right.
Um. So down south, sometimes people get caught up. Oh, he's gonna do a show in my area. He's not from out here. You know, they have that type of attitude. You know what I'm saying? When in reality, if you don't have the means and you don't have the networking, why not let somebody do that for you? Now, if you are
Yeah.
doing shows and you are, you have that area, like that we say locked down, then hey, why don't you do a USBR show? But people will only do things that they're comfortable with and they don't want to come out that box. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Certain registries just allow you to do anything. They accept anything, they let anything happen, something like that. And the USBR is just like the ABKC will not allow certain things. You know what I'm saying? So you have to really abide by the law, like let's say, you know.
So are you the first one that hosting a show over on the East Coast?
And this area, yes. But I believe also Stephanie Lynn and Timothy St. Clair are hosting
Mhm.
shows out there in North
Yeah, in the
Carolina.
Carolinas.
And
Yeah.
Mhm.
I am one of the ones that do shows out here. I'm going to be doing shows out here in the East Coast, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. Probably go all the way up to Ohio if I have to. You know what I mean? We're just trying to push the USBR. You know, the ABKC has already created a platform over here. You know, I do their fun shows. Shout out to James Cooper. I got a good relationship with him, and no
Yeah.
disrespect to him, but I like to work with one registry, hosting as a sanction. I stay loyal to them until things go a little weird. But other than that, they've been treating me with the utmost respect.
Hopefully
You
not.
know,
Hopefully not.
this you have to understand this, right? Everybody got rules, but at the end of the day, it's your show. You know, so you have to try to accommodate everybody. So you have to come and meet in the middle, and the USBR has given me that. You know what I mean? I started with the BBCR with Juan Suarez, with Marco Suarez, and them, and
Mhm.
then the BBCR just
Wow.
gone. So I'm like, okay, I guess I got to look for another registry. Um, my brother,
Oh no.
my brother Smitty from 100 Kennels, he always wanted to do a USBR show. He's the one that put me onto the USBR. So I'm like, USBR, really? So I started doing my homework, and unfortunately, he couldn't do a show at the time that he wanted to do it. So I said, you know what? Let me do a show for you, represent. And once you get back on your feet, the doors are open. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's what we did.
Yeah.
So we brought the USBR, to the East Coast, and I'm happy we did. You know.
Okay.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Michelle,
Wow.
great. Angel's great. Rob and everybody from the USB are real good people. I brought out Fred Duran. I brought Michelle Chavez out. We're bringing out this year. We got Anthony Gray and Christopher Nightingale.
Heck
So
yeah.
these Unleashed
Okay.
Nice.
3.0. Yeah, and they let me do also my fun show. So like I said, there's no holding back on what the host would like to do as long as it's within the parameter of the laws and you're not breaking them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It works perfect for me.
seems to be.
Yeah. Hey, Danny. So all the accolades that you do, we've named quite a bit, but I just want to put these kind of in realm of things. So you're a breeder, you're a show host, you're an MC, you're a fun show judge. Are you a sanctioned show judge as well? And what other accolades am I missing here?
Um. Okay, so I was offered to be a sanction show judge at one point, like 3 years ago. I turned it down. I don't think I was ready to be a sanction show just yet, because I didn't check those boxes that a real sanction show has gone through the process of, championing out your own production, championing out a production of that production, going through the steps, apprenticeship, um shadow rep and all those stuff, you know what I mean? Like these days anybody can become a judge and expect to get and want the respect that judges like Ron Ramos, John Easterly, Skip Miller, those gentlemen, Jamie Sweet, you know what I mean, to name a few.
Mhm.
So I thought that at the time that it was offered, and no, that was even more than 3 years ago, a little bit further down when the XL movement was real hot, when we were smoking hot. Everybody
Yeah,
wanted a piece of that pie, and I thought it was offered at the wrong time for the wrong reasons. And I would
understood.
have been setting myself up for failure, even
Respect
though
that.
it's a nice gesture,
Right.
but I don't think I was in the deserving moment at that time. So you sometimes have to be honest with yourself. You can't you can't ask too much that you could chew on. You know what I mean? Because it might just backfire on you. But I'll get there one
Hey, I
day.
really respect that.
Taking the right steps. You know what I'm saying? And stuff. I have champed out a couple of dogs already. So little by little, as the platform grows and I get to see more dogs and more shows, then I'll get there shortly. It's not my go-to goal. It's probably one of them, but I'll get there one day.
Oh, yeah. No, and I definitely, like Caleb was saying, it's just like, I mean, there's a respect for that, um, you know, because I can absolutely understand, you want to get a few things done, before you take that, to that
I
next level,
feel
so that way you have a confidence in yourself that your opinions will carry more weight,
Yeah.
even to you.
Yes, it's very important because think about it. You get a trophy like from John Easterly, Jamie Sweet, Ron Ramos. It could be a trophy as small as a can of soda, but it's the person who gave
you're
it
gonna
to you
cherish it.
that
Exactly.
that holds value. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
want to. That's the level I want to get to. That when they get a trophy from Mr. Second and None, they'll be like, "Yo, who gave me?" And they're putting it on the internet and they're tagging their friends and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm almost there now. When I give like a trophy for the best
You
XL,
are.
Mhm.
and when I see that, I'm like, oh, "Damn, for real?" Like, but because I never did this for that. This
Yeah.
is the dog world to me is my escape from life. From
I
Yeah.
like that.
bills, from
Yeah.
being a father of four pain the butt girls,
Yeah.
from
That's got to
working,
be tough. Four. I
yeah,
got
from
two.
from
Four.
from working,
Four
yeah,
girls.
from working 70 hours a week, 60 to 70 hours a week, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So that's why when I'm there, I cherish it. You always see me smiling. You never see me pissed off. Like nothing could get me mad in the dog world. You know what I
Well,
mean?
and so, oh yeah, and so what I found so fun, with you, obviously, other than your general demeanor, which is, again, you're having fun when you're there.
Yeah.
One thing that I really really liked is that, you wanted in on the action. So we're all out there, discussing why we like certain dogs, and you came up very very frequently to be like, hey, I want in on this. Like, so what do you think? What do you think? And like you, and what's so funny though about it is that, like, not only would we tell you, but we'd look at you and be like, "What do you think?" because it matters.
No, I
Yeah.
Like
appreciate it.
we knew that you knew what you were looking at too, and so like in June it was similar. Like obviously, even when it wasn't a category that he initially was advertised to be judging for, we're like, no, we want to hear what you got to say. We want you
Yeah,
to be a
no,
part
no.
of this because we know that you know what you're looking at. So heck yeah, join in. Tell us what you think, and so I think that makes it a little more valid when the final decisions are made because so many
Definitely.
people's viewpoints were taken into account that know what they're doing. So I really, really loved that you would pop in and just be like, "Hey, so what are y'all thinking?"
Yeah, yeah, no, it was nice that
Yeah, that
you
was
guys
fun.
allowed me to do that, and I only did that when the decision looked tough. I'm like, yo, I gotta see what they're thinking because this
Yeah,
was
and there were quite a
you
few.
got the hands full.
Oh,
You
there were
got
some
you
tough
got you got
decisions.
Bruce on one foot like he's coaching a football game, looking at the thing. I'm like, this must be serious, you know. Then
It
you got
was.
Caleb
There
trying
was
to
some
give
really.
Amanda. Nah, you give the second place. Nah, you give the third
Oh
place. Nah, I
man.
don't want to give the third
I
place.
have
Like, yo, dog, this
RBF, so
must
it
be
was really, really
serious,
difficult.
you know. But you see, that's the beautiful thing of being
Oh
in a,
man.
that's the beautiful thing of being in a show like the Pull Up or Shut Up. The
Yeah.
energy, the we had fun.
Energy was so
You know what I'm
nice,
saying?
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
same
That was
and,
super fun. Everyone was happy to be there, and everybody was having fun, even if one category didn't go their way. They were still winning in other areas, and they were still having a blast. And I really truly feel like so many people went home happy, and that's
oh
that's
yeah.
that's the goal at the end
Listen.
of the day.
I think that the show went very, I think Stuart and Sean didn't expect it to go that way. I think it went very well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, and that's how shows should be. At the end of the day, you have to understand that these shows you should use it for networking, and there was a lot of networking there.
A
Yeah.
You know what I'm
lot.
saying? A lot of networking there, a lot of people being happy, a lot of people teaching others how to handle a dog, and I went a couple of times,
Yes.
grabbed a couple of people's dog, listen, fix the lead, do this, grab them like that,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I
and
loved
stuff like
watching that. I
that.
was like,
Yeah, and that's what, because we want the community to do better.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I can't stand when I see these dogs in the ring with prong collars or collars that
Oh,
Yeah.
can't talk, like, oh man,
Yeah.
like there's not the place
Get a
for that.
show
You know what I
No.
mean?
lead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
you know what I'm saying? It's not the place for that. So like in my at Beast of the East, we make sure that everybody got show leads. You
yeah.
know,
That's right.
and if you don't, we give
Yes.
you a show
That
lead.
means that means they don't have their dog totally in control.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and it feels like when they're practicing, they're not
That's
they're not
right.
practicing for the real deal, which that obviously will also make them nervous in the long run because they don't really know how their dog's going to respond. Not truly, because again, a slip lead, there's nothing like it. But yeah, I loved watching you do stuff like that. That speaks a lot to your character, and obviously, you've got Bruce did the same thing when he would go and talk to people that. Even like if they didn't win that particular category, he and Caleb also did the same thing where he would discuss the why and he would be like, listen, here's what I want to see from you next time. And I kept, and I did the same thing. He's like, I want you to keep bringing this dog back, but let's work on this. Let's work on the confidence. Let's work on, getting,
Hmm.
a little bit more practice in on getting your
Ring
pace better. And,
presence. Everything.
and I love that you did that. Again, it speaks a lot to your
I
character.
appreciate it,
Hey,
but yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
and you know what though? It was one guy, man. He was determined to win. He entered plenty categories, and it seemed like he was losing.
Right.
But at the end of the day, he finally won.
Was
But his
that
dog was tired, and he
Excel
was too.
Crosby?
Yeah, I think it was nice line bullies, the nice line bullies, something
Yeah,
like
Least
that.
line
yeah.
bullies. Yeah, he's coming to the Beast of the East.
Uh,
He's coming to
Man, he was
the
having
Beast
so
of the
much
Oh,
fun
East.
for
out there, though. He
real?
was pumping people up. He was cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you
he was
see his
He
cool
was
for
attitude
real.
though.
rowdy.
But you saw
Huh?
his attitude though. Even though he lost as
Yeah.
many times,
Yeah,
when he took that win, he enjoyed it even
Yeah.
more.
that's
But he
right.
wasn't bitter. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? He
Right.
just had fun. He'd be like, "Yo,
Yeah,
come on, I lost again. I gotta win something, guys."
yeah, yeah.
And the
He
attitude
finally
that's
won.
that's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I love to
Yeah,
see stuff like
It
that.
Yeah.
was.
And
yeah.
they
Because
got hype, and they got hype for each other. They got hype for other
yeah,
people that they had seen that they wanted them to win too, even if they weren't part of their crew. And I mean, after a whole day together at a show, you'll start to see there's a shift in the way, in audience and the way that they are, because when we did the People's Choice, for example,
Oh,
and
Yeah.
it was gauged by applause. Theyese people didn't know each other, and yet
yes,
they were hooting and
Yes.
hollering for one another
yeah,
because they
Yeah.
really genuinely were like, you know what, I want to see them take this one. So
yeah,
they're just over there
yeah,
whistling and
yeah.
hooting and holler for someone they don't even really know. They didn't know
Yeah.
them in the morning. They know them
Yeah.
now, and
Uh-huh.
it's just, I love
What was the guy's
seeing that.
name? He was yelling and whistling at the same time,
Yeah,
Oh,
and I was just,
oh,
I'm like, oh my
had the
god. He was like the only one.
preaching
I'm like,
what had the
damn,
Peter
you
was
preaching.
loud
right.
like the whole crowd.
Yeah, he kept everyone hyped,
Yeah.
and I appreciated that. Truly, truly
Oh
appreciated that.
man.
But again, that's how you can kind of tell that there's a vibe at a show, and that that you're building something that people are going to remember, and it's not even a remembrance just because of the what you went home with hardware wise. It's the vibe you left feeling like so happy that show hangover is going to be because you had too much fun.
Yeah, no,
You're
listen,
ready to
the
go to
hardware is
another
always a
one instead of
plus. You
Hmm.
know,
absolutely.
the hardware is always a plus, but what you get out of the shows and how you network at a show is the main
Yeah.
reason why you should be going to shows and learning how to handle your dog and stuff
Hmm.
like that. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
absolutely.
But it was a good show.
Yeah.
He's coming to the Beast of the East. He asked me, he texted me, he go, so how's the XL turn on the Beast of the East? I'm like, you must not have done your homework. I'm like, are you kidding me? You know,
Hey,
goddamn,
Do your
we got
homework
one
and
of the
come back to
we
me.
got one of the
USBR usually be the Excel show.
still we're gonna be, I think right now, to be honest with you, we got one of the best XL lineups there
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
with
USBR
a lot of
always does. Yeah.
champions, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's, you know what it is, over here we support each other. Even like if I'm not in the ring, I'm gonna be supporting for you guys. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
stuff like that. And there's a lot of that here. And it's gotten to a point that, we push each other forward to win. Because if you win, I win. Because remember, we're the XL movement.
Yeah.
There's no
There we go.
fair breed,
Yeah.
because I was tired of going to shows seeing 20 pockets and two XLs. I'm
Yes.
standard to one
Yeah.
XL. You were the reindeer at the show.
Yeah.
And that was getting tiring. That was getting a little disrespectful after a while. That you drive 10 hours and you're the only XL in the building.
Right.
Sometimes me and Christine Feldman were the only ones going against each other. But since He-Man, I think, was a couple of months older than Archie or Dez, we'll win our own category and then go against each other. Either she'll win or I win. But
Yeah.
and at that time I didn't really understand the point factor. I didn't care. I was just going there for show, to just have fun. But it was tiring. But now we got to a point that we can match up with the pockets with the standard, and
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
they gotta
And
be a,
it's
and they gotta
getting
be
better
a
every day.
it better be a badass standard pocket to be the next cell these days now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
You want
saying?
to
Damn
see
Mhm.
right.
I'm glad
for
we got to
sure.
that level now, though.
Yeah.
It definitely
Yeah. I love
feels that way.
Christine
It's headed in the
Feldman.
right direction.
She's a beauty. Let me tell you something. She's one of the most competitive females I've seen in the game. Win or lose, she has the same attitude, and she's so supportive. And she's not one of those that got bad sportsmanship. If she loses, she takes it with the same attitude as she wins. She might not be happy about how she lost, because it's time that me and her have spoken and I've seen the outcome, and I've seen, because at one point, remember, they didn't look at the XLs in the ring.
Right.
You got pocket standard, and they stopped there. They didn't even bother looking. They didn't even bother looking that way. They just looked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And after a while,
Yeah.
it does get annoying. It does, you took a drive. We want the same respect you giving them to us. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And we had to get to that point. So I think one of the biggest XL turnouts was in 2020 when we had a BRC show in Lumberton. It was Mr. 2nd2Nun's XL movement against Eric from, oh man, what's his kennel? Exotic Movement. And we had
Mm.
Yeah.
22
Yeah.
dogs, 21 dogs in the ring with Ron Ramos being a judge. That,
Nice.
that lineup was crazy. That lineup was he was so happy to see so many XLs. He said he hasn't seen that many XLs in a show like over 10 years.
Dang.
So we knew we were getting somewhere. Yeah, we knew we were getting somewhere when that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And thank God everybody
Yeah.
followed through. Nobody fell off. Nobody went back to the bench and just sat down. Everybody started really putting in that work.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, absolutely. And I love that. I love seeing more and more XLs that are showing up. So we're hoping that eventually another instance where you could be like, that's the most XLs I've ever seen in one place, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And not just the fact that they're there, but they're, in the show ring, and that they're
Competing for best in
good,
show.
their work.
Competing.
Yeah, they're competing in the best in show, which is obviously in certain registries where the XLs are considered a separate breed entirely, which I do appreciate for the purpose of obviously making sure that they will always have a place in the show. I do appreciate that gesture, because it does mean a lot, because it is harder for XLs
I
to
believe,
make that.
I believe the BRC was the first one to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking to Kev Green, and we were discussing that. I also wanted them to do a standard XL and a XL plus, because because in reality, you got dogs. The standard according to certain registries is 19 to 22 for females, 20 to 23 for males. And then now you got XLs who are 24, 25 inches, And when the judges see that, they don't even look at it, because it is automatically, a false. So the dog's going to lose. So at one point, I was just thinking, maybe if we do the standard XL, which is within the height cap, and standard plus, which is anything above the cap, that way dogs with similarities are judged the same way as the standard, and the winner of each group goes for the best of XL. That way, to me, it gives both parties a chance to be judged properly. The judge judging dogs with similarities, so you don't have a 27-inch XL with a 20-inch XL, and the person that got the 27-inch XL don't feel like he's not being judged properly according to the breed type, or you know what I'm saying? But that never happened. But the way he did it is fine too. You know what I mean? It gives us a home. Then the ABKC started doing that, where they raised the puppy category. It started, I think, from 9 months and up. It's considered XL class. So that's also a good thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but I mean, Adam made a good point just a second ago, needing to make XLs look like standards again, and that's kind of the trend that I want to see, is not just more XLs showing up and actually getting in the ring, but worthy XLs, because it's all fun and games, bringing your XLs out, and obviously, we do want to see more of them. But then again, there was I don't know, Danny, were you at ABQC Nationals this last year?
No, not this year.
Gotcha. It was
This year I'm
probably
going.
one of
Last
the
year I wasn't.
it was probably one of the bigger show outs of XLs that I'd seen in years. That was probably the most XLs I'd seen at Nationals.
The last time I was in
Not
National was 2019, when we had the XL movement
right,
strike off.
with the exception of that.
Yeah.
But so during my tenure, and I just remember thinking to myself, it's just like, it's a great thing, even in spite of quite a few of them not quite being
Should be.
not quite having the bone or the mass they needed. They weren't as typey as they should have been, but at the same time, they showed up, which you're hoping will promote other XL owners and breeders and exhibitors to show up as well, because they realized that the reception of the XLs was good.
Right.
So I was hoping that was going to be like a step in the right direction. So I'm hoping that it's going to be another one with Nationals this year, as we need movements like yours.
I think everybody wants to be different in this breeding game. Nobody wants to have similar dogs.
That's right.
And sometimes they follow the hype. They don't follow their vision. And to be honest with you, some of you guys don't have a vision. Some of you guys are following somebody else's program. And until you run into a hiccup and say, "Damn, why am I breeding this damn dog? He's too big for me," and fall into what you're supposed to, what you feel comfortable with, and not worry about what the people are gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's when you're gonna fix your program. You know what I mean? Everybody wants these big name dogs, and I don't mean big name. Like, I'm talking about hype breeders, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, he's making a move. So if I get a dog, if I get a He-Man pup, I'm gonna sell that dog. No, leave He-Man alone. Worry about your program. And I
Yeah.
tell people,
100%.
don't, the only thing I tell people when they breed to He-Man is make sure you're not trying to breed for the money because of He-Man, because He-Man ain't gonna get you no money, but He-Man will give you quality dogs.
Right. And
You know what I'm
start
saying?
with that. And then,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
use
Yeah.
that as the tool that's necessary. But yeah, it's to try and use it as a selling point. You're sort of like, create your own stuff, please.
Yeah, you know, because at the end of the day, it's your program. You know what you want, and if you don't know what you want, go to a show without a dog and
There
see
you go.
maybe something attracts you.
Find what you want.
Once you do your homework and you say, oh man, that's a nice, you know, I like that dog. That's, what's that, a
Yeah,
standard?
that style.
Ooh, he's
That's
got two
yeah,
bulls.
yeah.
He's right. You know, let me get into this. You know, ask questions.
Mhm.
Maybe a pocket might be good for you. You
Right.
know, but you know, trying to get into something that's hot right now, so you could benefit from it, is gonna cost you more of a headache than anything else. You know,
Oh yeah.
if you don't know how to breed,
Yeah.
you breed some spicy lines or some, you do too much inbreeding and other stuff that might bring you some aggressive dogs. To you putting these dogs in people's houses, you gotta be careful, man. I tell
Yeah.
people that
Hmm.
all the time. You gotta be careful. You're looking at these names to try to capitalize, and you want to get rid of these puppies at 5 weeks old, 6 weeks old, not knowing the characteristics until they're 12 or 13 weeks old. You might be making a mistake.
Oh,
So,
agreed. Absolutely. We actually talked about that this last week with Judah Strunk. We were talking about breeding for yourself and how um, you need to make sure that when you're being, you need to be selective first and foremost when you do your out crossings, and when you need to eventually create your own outcross, so everything's within the realm of your control, and so that you know exactly what you're like producing. It is what your goal is. You knew what you were looking for. You had a plan and a goal, and you're going for it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
being prepared to have to shift that if necessary when things aren't, ultimately don't work the way that you want to. So it's, yeah, it can, yeah, you gotta be willing to breed for yourself before just trying to breed to put dogs in houses.
I know definitely, and
Exactly.
you always have to breed for yourself, because at the end of the day, it's your program.
Always. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's your program. You know, I never try to breed for somebody else. Never, ever. You
Well,
know what I'm
well,
saying?
that's the problem, Danny. There's not enough programs now. There's a lot of people that are trying to breed for one breeding, and they're trying to create a program off that, breeding
Hmm.
to a hype breeder, and that's where there's no programs because there's no vision in where they're trying to get to. So it's just a one-hit wonder they're trying to do instead of an actual program. There's a handful of programs in the XO world, and there needs to be more.
Like, you know how many times I've denied people, like, oh, let me breed to He-Man. Like, why you want to breed to He-Man? Or that
Yeah.
headpiece. Click. You can't create a program of a headpiece. I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what
gonna
I'm
be
saying?
kind of
You know
bigger
what
than
I'm saying?
that.
You need to really look at a dog with a complete package
Yeah.
to the best to
Yeah.
what you want.
Hmm.
Because everybody talks about tools and tools and tools. Why have a whole program full of tools when you could just try to invest in the right dog to give you more for your buck or more for your program to get closer to
Yeah.
your vision and to your end goal? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, Jack just plan that out 4 to 5 years. Absolutely. If you're not 2 to 3 breedings ahead, you don't have a program.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to plan this out, map it out, and then execute the plan. There's
Oh
going to
yeah.
be audibles, but have those audibles readily available.
Yeah.
Make a program, breed for yourself within the standard.
You know, now we got the Brazilian dogs.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's gonna bring more confusion to the people who don't know
It
what they're
is.
doing right now with regular dogs.
As if it's not convoluted enough.
It is.
You know what I mean? Even though from what
Yeah.
I hear, that's gonna push more breeders to go to what they should have been going to, like bulldogs and original, you know, but at the end it's gonna cause more confusion, because at the end of the day, people are gonna do what they want to do. They're not gonna stick to the script. They want the next level dog. And some of them will do whatever it takes to create that and be that breeder that did that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if they were to swap dogs at the registration table, and if you don't give me the results within 30 days of getting your dog swapped, your paperwork is falsified and they're not legit. If registry starts being strict that way, think people will start thinking twice on how they breed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, yeah, you might get people mad. So what? They're never happy anyway. Sometimes, you know.
You can't make them all happy. You
So
can't
might
make
as
them all
well,
happy.
so might as well make them follow your rules if they're not gonna be happy regardless, right?
Oh yeah,
Right.
for
Yeah.
sure.
That's just the
Well, so
that's just the way it works.
Malik had a question. He said, "Do you see breeders start leaning towards more extreme and wide these days compared to clean standards as far as the XL community is concerned?"
Well, they're doing that now. They want the more extreme dog to have the more of a wow factor and be noticed, and and it's their preference. And sometimes it's not even that they like it; they just want to be part of what's going on now. Because
Yeah.
I prefer a nice, clean XL than an overdone XL. You know, to be honest with you, you know, I'm not gonna cap. You know, it might be your cup of tea. Cool. I'm not gonna disrespect you, but I
Right.
will go for the nice, cleaner XL.
Yeah.
You know.
Balance.
Oh, for sure.
Balance.
Yeah, and that's what people don't
Gotta have
understand.
balance.
Balance. You know, if you have a nice, well balanced dog, he'll 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 do beautiful. But you know, people want a bigger head, and they're gonna make your dog look like a bobblehead. You know, a smaller
Yeah.
dog, too extreme. It's just people are never satisfied because today they like the clean dog. Tomorrow they see that extreme dog getting so much hype and so much love, they want to become extreme.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
It's so social
next week
media influence now.
classics are back in play. You know, people, oh yo, I like look at his muscle. If everybody goes to that part, everybody's gonna want to be a classic breeder.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so that's just the way it goes. Daryl Thrower, yeah, Daryl Thrower, he's doing the thing too. Um, but yeah, that I don't think I think that depends on people's preference and if they're willing to put in that work. You know,
Exactly.
it's all about the work you want to put in. You know, patience is. I think patience is key.
Oh,
You know?
for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
DJ Cornett,
What
what
up,
up, my guy? Hey, Malik
DJ?
Thomason, I want to shout
Yeah.
him out. He's been putting a lot of lives out, and he's talking about
Yep.
Gino and Fino, why people want to breach their dogs. A lot of the things that we're actually talking about tonight, a lot of the topics that are coming up so fluidly tonight, and that's questions that are coming up in the community, but also just the bully community. Period.
Mhm.
So Malik Thomason, check his page out. He's doing a lot of lives. He's putting in a really good content.
Okay.
Malik, I would love to have you actually on the show.
Yeah.
But I just want to give him his flowers because man, he's putting a lot of good content out right now.
And you know, and you need people like that to educate some of the people that are coming up because
That's
the
right.
people that are coming up now will see the platform that you guys are on right now, what I'm doing, and they think it's easy, but they don't see how much we've done to get to where we are and get the respect that people are giving us today.
Yeah.
You know, there's a
One
lot
hundred
of
percent.
a lot of bad days, a lot of aggravating days, a lot of hurt and
Tough days.
pain.
You don't want to do it.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? There was a time that I even say, you know what? F this and F that, you know, and lucky I have the people really been there for me. Like, nah, you're just having a bad day, man.
Won't let you quit,
Yeah,
man.
just tomorrow, you
Yes.
just recap tomorrow. Just take a breather today. Go have go have your cup of Patron and your cigar, and then tomorrow we'll talk again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a whole cup. He didn't say no glass. He didn't say a shot. He said a cup.
I get a cup. I get a cup. I get my cup, my skull ice, and you know, and I sit back and just
So which
reminisce on,
line in the inside of that solo cup do you fill to your patron?
yeah.
It's needed at times, man. It's needed.
Listen, there was days that I would sit outside with a 3/4 cup full of Patron or with ice and my cigar and just thinking like, ah, man, you know. Um, yeah, you know, but you know, like I said, I got SG Kennels. He's like a brother to me. Bully Worldwide. He got his own magazine. He's also been there for me. You know, there's a lot of people
Yeah.
that have been really part of what I do, like the backbone, you know, behind the scene, and just like, don't worry about it, bro. You're gonna be all right. You know, oh man, I feel you, man. I'm sorry. You know, if we have to cry together, we'll cry together. And then tomorrow we just, all right. What's the plan?
Exactly.
Right.
I'm
Back to
Now,
saying,
work.
and I
now
love,
let's
Back to work.
yeah, and I love him for that.
recalculating.
You know, I love him for that. You know, it's not too many people you really have in this game that do for you without anything in return.
Right.
100%.
And that's why I stay real. Like loyalty is everything to me. You know, I don't care about money. Like I tell you, I make money. I work my butt off every week. So, but loyalty is the number one thing.
Yep.
You know.
Man, I love that. And I'm going to give kudos to these two on the live with us. Like, if I put in the live something negative, like our group, if I put something negative, or if I even put like, hey, I'm not going to get on this week, or let's end this live, man, we would have a conference call and be like, hell no, what's going on? What's going on? Why? But we have that relationship that the three of us, the four of us, Michael Higginson too, can literally all come together and say, what's going on? Why are we doing this? Because we've put way too much into this.
Yeah.
We're building something and we're going to continue to push forward.
Right.
And that's exactly what you're saying with your group. Like, everyone needs a tight-knit group. We always talk about mentors.
Right.
But a tight-knit group of like-minded people that are going to continually push you forward when you have those bad days. When you've missed on 4 breedings in a row and you're like, damn, man.
Like, that's it.
Like, I don't know when I'm going to have a litter. Like, that person that needs to be that encouragement in your ear, and then that next one hits, you want to call that person and be like, motherfucker, look at this. And if I didn't talk to you, it wouldn't have happened, but it did, because that's the love that you gave me, and I'm going to give it back. Like, let's go on a puppy or something.
Yeah.
And that's
We're
what
getting back in the
breedings
game.
really need to take. Yes.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you know what it is? It's good to have people that want to see you win.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what makes you keep. That's what sometimes keeps you pushing, because you don't want to disappoint them, because they're investing their time also in you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
You're absolutely
and there's
correct.
times that if I haven't posted, I have Bully Worldwide calling me at 6:30. Yo, man, you still alive? I haven't seen you do anything on the public. I haven't posted for real. I just posted something. You know what I'm saying? But like as
Yeah,
channels
man.
also, I'm checking up on you. You good, my guy? Like, yeah, bro. And we just talk fishing trips or whatever, or dogs. You know, um, and and that's why sometimes when I do hear something negative about somebody that I know that I've been supporting in any which way about, either about my dog, or they should have used their dog instead of my dog or my
look at you,
son.
dog.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little disappointing. It's a little disappointing because in this game I've never badmouthed anybody, at all, because there was no need for that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Me either.
Anything that's meant for you is meant for you, and it's gonna come to you. You just gotta be patient. Stay in your lane.
Oh,
Put on your blinders. Don't worry about nobody else, and just work your shit off. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It's gonna come to you, but just you gotta stay loyal to it. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing it for any other reason than for yourself, it's not gonna work out. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And it really is not gonna work out. You know what I mean? And
Man,
stuff
I
like that.
love
It's
that.
just, and I just love, like, look, I'm in my attic. There's live from the attic when I do my lives in IG.
Yeah, I
That's
love
not,
it.
that's
so
I've
not a
been
back.
looking at that
That
the whole
listen,
you're in
time.
the
that's not a
studio. It's
backdrop.
a
Listen,
studio,
that's not a
not an
backdrop.
actual
That's an
studio.
actual banner. That
Dang.
that banner is 16 feet long by 90 feet tall.
Yeah,
And when I go live, I'll show everybody's logo, give them a little story about them, and then go back to my regular live. And
yeah,
we're gonna support the people. They've been able, they'll pay $50 to get on the back, but that's for like a year and a half that I have it back there, and then I put a new one up next year. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I've been lucky enough for it to grow, and people like, yo, put me on your banner, put me on your banner. You know what I'm saying? Because look,
Shoot, we
you
need to
got
get
the
the
same
Tuesday night
logo.
bully talk on there,
Hey,
man.
Just send me your logo. I'll
Amanda,
put it
send
on
him
my next
$50.
banner.
Amanda, send
I
him
got the other.
$50.
No. So send me your logo. Send me your logo. But I'm getting another banner by the end of the month for the other side of the wall, for that side of the wall.
Hell yeah.
I'm
You know what I
good.
mean?
we'll
And stuff.
Agreed. So
talk
we'll
about
just
it,
call
Danny.
it
We'll
even.
talk about it. We'll talk about it. It's okay. Apparently, I'm the bank for Tuesday Night Bully Talk. I'm my own bank. That's fine. It's cool. It's fine. We'll talk about it. It's good.
All right. She said it's fine, Bruce. She said it's fine. Michael, we're good. Hey, we're all good. Expenses paid.
I will punch you in the face.
Oh,
You do it
gosh.
every day. This is a normal thing for me. Talk about the friends that boost you up.
2 trains?
Right?
There it is. Yeah, Danny, when the trains go by Bruce's house, we got to say it. Like,
Yeah.
that's.
Oh,
That's actually he got
I'm
like
gonna say
that's
it
the
too.
nickname. It's 2 trains, but with a Z at the end because at one point like you'll hear one train, and then you'll hear another one within another minute or so, and you're just like, was that just 2 trains? Like, yep, It's funny.
Did they just go through your living room?
Yeah, for real. I mean, one of them sounds like real close.
Oh
I'm like,
man.
how close is that train to you, Bruce? God dang, might as well hop on it.
Oh man. What I loved about Danny, right when I met him, first of all, there's just love. But then he started picking at Amanda like right
Yes, immediately
away.
just hopped
And I'm
right
just
in
like,
like he
this is my
belongs
This is
there.
my
dude.
my guy right here. Yeah.
Yes, finally.
It was so effing natural for you.
Man,
It was
not for
just
nothing,
so
but
funny. I was just like, I'm
Amanda,
sorry, and you
you
are.
do attract getting picked on though. Like let me see, you know, like when
We're
I
good
saw you, I'm
at it.
like,
I think it's
I was
we're
picking
just
on you too at the
naturally good at
show. I'm
getting
like,
picked on.
oh yeah, she's easy to get. She's so easy
Yeah,
to
she
get.
is.
You know?
Yeah, it's like I
She's
just
so
went,
serious
here,
about
just do
things,
this.
man. She's such a mom or an aunt or a grandma. Like she lays out the hand sanitizer, the poop bags, the hairspray, and she doesn't even bring a dog, Danny.
I didn't
She
even
had
bring.
no dog. Bruce, tell me she didn't have everything laid out,
I even had
spaced
band-aids for people
correctly.
to put themselves on their shoes.
Hey, one of the
Man.
handlers came and asked her for a band-aid. She was so happy. I was like, the girl's bleeding. And she's like, yes.
She
Well,
got
because
ball.
I'm sitting there
Hey,
thinking, like, I'm thinking to myself, this is like, I
She
brought
has
these for a reason.
lotion.
It was the very first time I
ball.
put Band-Aids in that show bag. And I'll be damned, the first time I put those
Oh my
Band-Aids in the show bag,
gosh.
someone needed them. So
Everything.
that was like,
And didn't
Yes.
have
yes, I knew
no
it. I
dogs.
knew that was a
I'm
good
talking
addition.
about just lay it all out
No
on the table.
dog.
No
Like she got a
dog.
dog in the crate.
Didn't even have a dog.
Waiting for someone to
No
come
dog.
and ask her, and then she gets all excited,
Emergency.
like, yes, yes. What you got there, Danny?
Where's Pizzato?
Hey, Daddy.
Okay.
Daddy, you know what? Are them Ray-Bans?
Ray-Ban?
What? Oh, my Ray-Bans are downstairs.
Okay, so
Let me say, I love that picture, man. Love that
it
picture.
was so
Hold a
funny. I mean,
second.
it was so perfectly executed because that was
Oh
really the
man.
face. Well, so
Oh,
for anybody that doesn't understand the reference, Danny had these what looked like just normal glasses on, but apparently they're very very special. And they're made by Ray-Bans. But go ahead and tell the people, Danny, what those glasses actually can do.
Oh, they could do everything. Translate, record, and take pictures like this.
That's some,
yeah.
that's some Tony that's some Tony Stark shit right there.
Oh, I love it that you pulled it up so quick,
Hold
too.
on a
That's
second. Hold on a
perfect.
second.
That's like
I got snap.
Oh, oh my
that
gosh.
was clutch. But when
Yeah,
he said
look,
it, it's like, oh, they're
that's from the
Ray-Bans. And
glasses.
we're like,
Yeah.
Ray-Bans?
Yes.
And he goes, what? Hold
Crack
Oh
on a
me up.
second. There's
man.
another picture where I got Amanda also with Miss Birdseye. Where is it? Where is it? That was a good one and stuff.
Oh
But
gosh.
now we had a blast that day. We
Oh,
really had a blast
Oh
that
yeah.
day. Where's
That
the
was
other
nice, man.
pictures?
that was that was
Hey, when I saw that picture, Bruce, that was so
I
funny
know,
because
Look,
Danny took a picture
man.
and we were
look,
opening
look.
up. And Bruce is like, "Those are Ray-Bans." Oh yes, I love it.
Oh yeah, because we were talking about that stack off, right? And then all of a sudden, like, yeah, let's go take a picture. He goes, what you mean take a picture? I'm like, yeah, with the Ray-Ban. He goes, what? So then when he saw his reaction, well, hold on a second. Do that again. Let me get that on camera.
and he did
And
Ray-Ban?
you did it again.
Yeah,
Oh man.
you know.
That was
And
crazy
that
though.
picture was taken with the Ray-Bans that
Yeah.
he was
Yes.
Ray-Ban, you know.
Yeah.
So funny.
I never known they make glasses like that.
Hmm.
Apple
I ain't
Man, I
glass
had a
from a
pair.
Ray-Ban.
Apple's coming out with a
I've
new one
heard, but I've
next
never
year.
seen them.
Oh
I had a pair and I
man.
lost them, man. My wife got them for my birthday last year. Like, if she's watching, she's probably like, "Yeah, you dumbass." But yes, I lost them. I don't know where they are. Like, those are like almost $400 sunglasses, man.
Can't have
They're
Yeah, so
so
none
I
of that.
bought him.
cool.
I bought him. I said, you know what? Let me spend some money on myself. I went to Cinco. I was judging the fun show over there. So I said, you know what? Let me go look cool. Let me
Yeah.
go get myself a couple of Ray-Ban, you know. And I couldn't even know. I didn't even know how to work them. I'm like, and they talk to you. I'm like, you know. And then one day I was trying to put the volume up. I'm turning the music on. I'm like, yo, forget it, these things. I just put them away. Then when I started learning how to use
Yeah.
them very well, you know what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Man, those glasses are so cool though. Like you can literally talk Bluetooth. Like it translate down to your ear and it's right behind it. You can listen to music.
Yeah.
They can translate different language for you. It's
Yeah.
polarized. You can do
Yeah.
video, you can do camera.
Yep.
Like you literally touch this side of your like glasses and it takes a picture or a video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's
I love
amazing.
That's
He's
the.
not
me.
And
bad.
it
Yeah.
goes straight to your
You know
phone.
what? They
Yeah.
were worth it
Yeah.
too. They were. I'll be honest with you. They were worth the the price.
What's funny is like
I'm gonna get another pair.
you managed to like work these Tony Stark Ray Bans, and I couldn't even get my Bluetooth like microphone to work on my phone. That's
Yeah, I saw that.
that's
Yeah, I saw you
pretty
having
entertaining.
technical difficulties there.
I was yeah.
I wasn't gonna
Technical
put you.
difficulties all day, Danny, all
I just quit.
day.
I just quit trying. Like at that point, and the thing is like it's worked before, but it just wasn't working that day. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try it without a microphone, and it worked just fine. I mean, my interview with Kate was good.
It would have been so much better with the
No,
microphone.
I
It would
see her
have been
trying to
so much
talk to
better.
her. She like, and I'm like, why is she talking to her hand? Then I see the mic. I'm like, oh, that's what she's doing.
it's like yeah,
Oh,
I
when you
couldn't
came
figure
up
it
to
out.
her,
Like it's worked before, and here you are with again these Tony Stark Ray Bans, and you're figuring it out just fine. It made
that
me
was so
feel
funny.
better.
Danny's like, "Why didn't you test this, Amanda? Why
Yeah,
didn't you get
Yeah,
this tested
I
before
saw
you?"
you
that.
extra
Yeah.
fan before the show, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I did, but I don't know why, which is why I'm so confused as to why it's not working now.
That
So,
was hilarious. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
But it was
Well,
listen. It was great meeting you guys in person. I truly appreciate your support. You know what I'm saying? It really means a lot to me. You know, it keeps us pushing and keeps us moving forward and keep doing what we do. You know what I mean? You guys are doing great,
yeah.
giving people a platform to be able to express themselves, get other people to get to know them, and network. You know what I'm saying? Bruce, man, you know, like I said, it looked like we were homies from back in the days. You know, and your expertise and how you view things. You know, I truly respect you. You know, I hope you guys, like I said, you guys got a booth at Beast of the East. If you guys are willing to come, I send you the floor plan, you know, on me. You know, you guys want to get set up with I got a whole I have a whole green wall set up with cameras and everything. If you guys want to interview people that day, and you know what I'm saying, and you're more
Do
than
you have a
welcome.
mic? Do you have a mic so Amanda does
Oh,
not have to bring her
I
mic?
got that whole setup. I got that same mic set up right here, right now in my left hand. I don't want to show it off to her though.
And have Mike in me.
I love it,
I
man.
appreciate you taking my
Look, I
feelings
could
into
even look.
account
I
because
could even sound
Caleb
like I
doesn't.
got a podcast right now. What you talking about, girl?
Heck yeah.
You and your microphones. You like Chris James. He's got this big old huge microphone that he has. It's,
No.
That's the
I don't
real
even
one
know if that
too.
really
I can't even
works.
do it
I
to
think
him.
his
That's
is
the
for looks.
real
I
one
think
too.
Christopher James for looks.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Danny's is real. I like
well,
his.
Yeah.
I've been. It's been. You know what? It's been taking a time for me to try to set up the right way. You know, right now the only thing I'm having a problem with is the software. The software don't work good with Apple, so I'm trying to see if I get
Okay.
another
Yeah.
desktop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah,
other than that,
yeah.
you know, I'm trying to get those lives to get that real feel podcast look, you know, and stuff like that. So that's all. This I enjoy to do this. So investing some time and money is not a problem. You know, I don't make it look like a job. I enjoy doing what I do. You
Man,
know.
Oh, that's
we appreciate you tonight. We appreciate you taking the time off work. And we always got a question before anyone leaves. And Bruce, we want you to ask it tonight,
Oh
man.
God. Hold on one second.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
as he
ain't. It
empties the
ain't.
glass.
It ain't bad, man. It's
Bruce
it's an easy
Bruce.
question, man. It's an easy question for all the newcomers that's coming in the game, wanting to buy a dog, wanting to show a dog. I mean, just dog in general. What advice? What advice from an expertise can you give them?
Man, do your research. Um,
For
don't think
sure.
don't think a person is a great breeder just because he breeds a good dog. You know, he has to be an overall good person, good business person. Um, Go to a dog show before you purchase a dog to see what type of dog you're really into. You know what I'm saying? No shortcuts. You know, don't take no shortcuts. You know, everything in this game, patience is key. You know, patience is very key. Don't let nobody throw you off your vision. If you like standards, stick to your standards. Don't let
Yeah.
oh no, the money's where the XLs are, or the money's where the exotics or the pockets. No, if you like standards, stick to your standards. And be patient, and and ask questions. Don't be one of these people that know it all. Every day is a learning experience. Every breeding is a learning experience. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Not all the breedings are the same. And just stay humble. Be be welcoming to suggestions, to ideas. to just be able to have a listening ear. You know what I mean? And then once you get
Yeah.
that intact, that you know the type of dog you want, ask somebody, how you want to go to show. When I started going into the ring, I went into YouTube, looked at Ron Ramos 101 stacking,
Yeah.
gating, and I used to look at him in the videos.
Yep.
You know what I mean, and learn and put it to practice. 5 minutes every time you walk your dog. From the collar, take off the collar, put the lead so he knows when it's showtime, when it's playtime.
Yeah.
It's just 5 minutes. Don't make it a job. Make it fun for the dog. Play with your dog. Shit, too many handlers just go to the ring and just choke their dog, wait to get valued, and just walk out, walk back in. Like, have a relationship with your dog. You'll get a better outcome with your dog when you have a relationship with your dog than when you're just trying to treat him like a robot
Right.
and,
Yep.
and stuff like that, and be very careful who you invest in. You know what I mean? Be very careful who you invest in, who you put your brand with. That's very, that says a lot. You know what I mean? So just, just keep your eyes open, your ears open, and, and just, do your due diligence.
Man,
Man, I
I
love
think
that
this the
answer.
best one. I think this the best one ever.
Man,
That's good.
I really, really like that answer. And I
Mhm.
really
Man,
enjoyed this live. And Danny, before you get off, or when you get off, make sure you shoot your Cash App to Amanda so we can get you that 50. But man, I really, really, really enjoyed this live today.
Right now.
Hey, but
No,
what a
listen,
hell of an
thank you.
answer,
Listen,
because you
I
hit
was
so many
nervous.
different things right there.
I was nervous to come on, you know what I'm saying? Because I usually don't get, I told her, she goes, what do you mean nervous? You're nervous? Yeah, because you know what? First of
She
all,
sounds like that
ask
too.
to be to ask to be on a platform is an honor. I appreciate you guys
100%.
truly
Oh,
to invite me into your world. You
well,
know what
you're
I mean?
great to do.
Um,
It's an honor.
and for me, I never intended to be at this level of the game in this game. I just wanted to give my kids a different lifestyle and change their environment, the atmosphere that we're going through at the moment. And we're here today, you know what I'm saying? So it's been a blessing, you know what I mean?
Oh,
oh yeah.
So I want to thank you guys, truly, really thank you. Yeah, Raul's good people. That's my guy right there. Raul
oh yeah.
Fernandez.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Also
Yeah,
a wealth
definitely.
of knowledge. Oh,
Yeah, no,
definitely.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's good people. He's real good people. He came to one of the shows in Allentown with his boy 305.
Yeah.
305.
Yeah, he
Nice.
drove all the way from Texas.
Yeah.
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 Dang.
Yeah.
We got to go visit his yard. We went to nationals 2 years ago, Bruce. That
Yeah.
was
Oh,
that was amazing.
you went to see his
Yeah.
yard?
Yeah. We
Amanda,
stopped by
thank
there.
goodness was not there, but we had a great time.
Yeah. Nah, he's good people and he's very diligent of what he does, And his boy, did you go there before Power passed away?
Before, yeah,
Oh,
he was there, wasn't he?
yeah.
Bruce, this
Power?
was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Power
I don't
was
know.
still alive,
I
Power
right?
think
That's that blue boy.
no,
305
no,
and
no.
Fireball. No, so
305
Power wasn't there. No, no,
fireball
no.
power was
Yeah,
Oh,
Power
yeah,
Power.
when he passed
wasn't
away.
there.
You got to see
Yeah.
Power,
It's
man.
305 fireball.
Yeah, we didn't get to see
Power.
him.
Yeah, Fireball 305. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fireball's nice too.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
He got a nice yard. He got a nice yard. You know
Dogs
what I'm saying?
clean. I love that.
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
we
and he's very
enjoyed that.
Really clean.
responsible. Yeah, he's real good. He's real good people. Raul's real
He
good
does
people.
his due diligence before any move at
Oh,
all.
absolutely. He definitely puts in the work and the
Oh yeah,
research.
he
So
definitely
it's something
plays
that's
chess,
very
not checkers.
refreshing.
That's for shit show. You know
That's
what I
one
mean?
fella you ain't gonna trick.
Huh?
I said that's one fella you ain't gonna trick. Raul.
No, you
Not at
see,
all.
He's
and
sharp.
you see, he sticks by his guns.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? That's what people got to do. You really got to stick to your guns, no matter what. People will try to divert you, change your mind, but you just got to stay in your lane and just make it work for you the
Yeah.
best you can. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That's one of the most
Yeah,
important
sure.
things, you know, and stuff. Because
Yeah,
in this game, it's easy to see where the money's at and try to follow it.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many breeders you guys know that are Frenchie breeders now?
Ooh.
And we're not
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
that's for a different live.
overpopulated now.
Yep.
Listen, to me, the Frenchie game is where the exotic game was like 6 years ago. They didn't know what direction to go to. That's where the
Yeah.
Frenchie game is at right now.
Yeah. The moment
You know?
I agree with
they
that.
became popular with the general masses, that's when they lost control.
Yeah,
Yeah. and
Yeah.
it is what it is. But you know what? That's not for me to say. That's not my lane. I mind my business, and that everything. If it works for you, it works for you, and that's it. Remember, we gotta stick blinders, baby girl. Blinders. That's it. You know.
That's
I
But
right.
once again,
see.
Got to.
ladies and gentlemen, I truly appreciate your platform. Bruce, Caleb, Amanda, thank you so much, guys. I truly appreciate you guys. All
Oh
right.
Man, we
yeah.
appreciate you.
And
Yeah.
God
We'll
bless you
run it
guys.
back
All right.
Again,
again.
it's
Round
been an honor
2
to have
coming
Yeah,
you.
soon.
let me know. Take
All right.
care.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
buddy.
All right. Y'all
Good
take
night.
Good
care.
night, y'all.
All
You too. Good night.
right, everybody. So
Bye.
go up on the YouTube.